Chapter 117. Our enemy is outside the Earth. Then the senior executive hesitated and looked at everyone. Like other countries, be wise and protect yourself, pretend you don't see it. Half a day later, the United States Department of Defense, no response? How could there be no response? When Jobs received the report from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, his eyes widened. They complained so tearfully that he has a good rhythm. Eventually, it failed to make any waves internationally. Although there are heavy rains all over the world and countries are busy with themselves, there is always time to reply to the news, right? But the announcement took so long. Of the remaining 50 countries in the world, none of them stood up to justice for the United States. Think of this. He couldn't help but feel chilled, so they would rather offend us than offend China. He gritted his teeth and quickly recognized the reality. My heart is extremely bitter. It seems now they don't want to get that fourth order 12-sided crystal back. He slumped in the chair, his mood becoming more and more complicated. Jinjing. The United States has even come up with this method. It seems that the 002 imitator is very important to them. The old man from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs shook his head. This announcement accused them with tears, but unfortunately, no country responded. Even Sakura country, the loyal loser of the United States, chose to remain silent. Dean Yang guessed that they want to use this fourth order 12-sided crystal to raise Steve's realm to fourth order. Wang Yu pondered. Slowly Su said, different from their path, when faced with disasters and crises, the United States increasingly believes in the power of individuals. Not only did he create an American hero, Steve, but he also vigorously purchased 12-sided crystals from other countries, cultivate the chosen ones in batches. The hope of the whole country is pinned on those few people. There is no need to pay attention to the American side. The leader's eyes flickered and the old man suddenly said, the focus of this meeting is the new plan submitted by Dean Yang. Hear the words. Wang Yu and others looked solemn and looked at the top-secret plan on the table. The name, Three Realms Portal. In plan, Yang Mo proposed that before the advent of Thunder God and Lightning Mother, he should take the initiative to break through the blockade of the mysterious unknown force, escape from the Earth, and find the truth behind the civilization trial, and the Three Worlds Portal is the first step in exploration. Dean Yang said that our enemy is outside the Earth. The leading old man took a deep breath and murmured softly, yes, outside the Earth. The old man from the military nodded with emotion. This plan of Dean Yang is too bold. Now the whole world is very busy. Ke Yang Mo. As soon as the fourth round of disaster was settled, this new plan was eagerly submitted. Goal, pointing to the outside of the Earth. Not only is it bold, but it is also unbelievable. The old man from the Ministry of Science and Technology had a look of amazement on his face and said excitedly, it is planned to build the gate of the three realms in myths and legends, which will penetrate the space. Connecting all the worlds, this is truly opening your eyes to the world. Hundreds of years ago, the age of discovery has launched on the Earth, allowing countries around the world to open their eyes to the world for the first time. But compared to Yang Mo's portal, it seems too childish. Once the portal is built, the barriers between China and other heavens and realms will be broken down, ushering in the era of all heavens and realms. There is no need to be happy too early. Wang Yu smiled bitterly and reminded, Dean Yang's plan also said that the Earth is behind the scenes now. The Black Hand space is in a state of blockade, and the conditions for building a portal to achieve jailbreak are quite stringent. Everyone heard this, the excitement calmed down and the discussion started in earnest. A gray curtain above the Earth. The IT was left behind by the mastermind behind the civilization trial to prevent civilized fire from escaping. There means mysterious Three Worlds Portal. The first thing to solve is the space blockade on this level. Secondly, after breaking through the space blockade, you also need to determine the plane coordinates of other worlds, then build a bridge between the two worlds to connect the Earth with another world. According to Dean Yang's research, when each round of trials starts, those monsters will descend from the gray curtain in the form of meteors. This shows that at that time, a certain transmission channel was opened in the gray screen, and monsters in each round were released to the Earth. Therefore, in terms of obtaining coordinates, we need to conduct counter-detection at the beginning of each round of trials and try to capture the world location of these descending monsters. In the plan of Three Worlds Portal, this step is crucial, determines the first world that China will counter-invade. That's right, limited by insufficient knowledge of other worlds, the only other world that China has access to is the coordinates of the world where the monsters are located. In addition, to build this door, there are three core prerequisite technologies. The old man from the Ministry of Science and Technology flipped through the plan, calmed down and analyzed. They are controllable nuclear fusion technology, space wormhole technology, quantum transmission technology as conceived. Three Worlds Portal is a device in the field of space transmission that can connect any two worlds and shorten the distance between them. The principle. It's a bit similar to shrinking into an inch in mythology and immortality novels, but it's more complicated than shrinking into an inch. What it shortens is the spatial geographical location of the two worlds, like a wormhole. It connects an area of the universe that may span billions of light years to the same point. Just go through the wormhole, you can span billions of light years in an instant. But, in the universe, the conditions for the existence of wormholes are often extremely harsh and are naturally generated. The Three Worlds Portal is an artificially created wormhole. To accomplish this, one must be proficient in space wormhole technology, and then distort space to connect two worlds that are countless distances apart. This is the Three Realms Portal. Quantum transmission technology ensures that people or objects can be smoothly transmitted from one side of the Earth to another. At the same time. This technology can also ignore space and use the principle of quantum entanglement for real-time communication. In the future, after China's advanced troops entered another world, Huaxia can sit on the Earth and understand the movements of other worlds in real time, as well as the progress of exploration. Finally, every activation of the Three Worlds Portal requires vast amounts of energy, which needs to be provided by controllable nuclear fusion. Out of the three technologies, our country has only mastered one. The old man from the Ministry of Science and Technology sighed lightly. This idea, inspiring indeed, but to implement it, it is far more difficult than the previous Book of Life and Death, Demon Mirror, and Thunder God and Lightning Mother. No matter how difficult it is, we will make it. The old man who led it suddenly spoke and said with a final decision. The tone was extremely certain. P.S. I would like to recommend this book by a friend to you. I was born to sin, please tell me the lower limit. If you like this subject, you can read it. Introduction. The crime rate in the city plummeted by 50% because I went in. The invasion is weird, avoid Sanha City, because I'm out. Chapter 118. Yang Mo, take you to a higher institution for further study. He knew it very well. The civilization trial is taking the lead. Stay safe. I can only sleep well overnight. China's enemies have been watching from outside the Earth. Only take the initiative, expand layout and planning. Only then can China have a real foothold in the world. And I in the plan. Yang Mo also speculated that other worlds have abundant resources that can increase China's development speed. If you can occupy a world, use it as a resource for China's development. China's improvement speed. It will reach an unimaginable point. Counting the time, the mysterious stone tablet in Linzi Base should be opened again. The leading old man paused for a moment and murmured softly, with a look on his face, with a hint of expectation, Linzi Base. Yang Mo rushed here after explaining the affairs of Yaoqi Base. At this time. A huge stone monument 3 meters high is trembling slightly. The light blooms, extremely dazzling. Yang Mo looked at it quietly. Behind him stood an old professor of space physics. The name is Su Minghui. He is one of the pioneers in macrophysics in China. I wonder if the stone tablet can bring more people in. Yang Mo thought silently in his heart. So far, the steel was open 3 times, but he entered all of them alone. Although it has brought out 3 epoch-making technologies, but the efficiency is really too low. Every time he needs to remember and then bring out these techniques. Therefore, he brought an extra person with him this time. The headmaster at Jixia Academy is very knowledgeable and everyone benefits a lot from every lecture he gives. What he planned to ask this time happened to be about space wormholes. If Su Minghui can also enter, the efficiency will be greatly improved, and he will not need to repeat it twice. Boom, the stone tablet hummed. The trembling is getting bigger and bigger. The light shines brighter and brighter. A suction force was generated out of thin air, pulling the consciousness of Yang Mo and Su Minghui behind him into an unknown and mysterious space. At the foot of a certain mountain, the breeze is gentle and the sun is bright all around. It's all pristine rural scenery. This, Su Minghui looked at the scene in front of him in shock, full of disbelief. He was standing in front of the mysterious stone tablet just now. It can happen in a blink of an eye. We came to a farmland. It's like a dream. Wait, Dean, your dress. He turned around and noticed the thoughtful Yang Mo behind him. The other party's dress, unexpectedly, at some point, it changed into an ancient costume. Wore ancient costumes, wearing her hair in an ancient bun. There is nothing modern about him at all. Jixia Academy can bring people in. Yang Mo was slightly happy. This discovery means that he can bring different scientific researchers into Jixia Academy in the future. Listen to the open class of Jixia Academy. How come my clothes and my appearance have become that of ancient people? Not long after, Su Minghui noticed another change in his appearance, full of surprise. This is the internal space of the mysterious stone tablet. Yang Mo looked at him and explained with a smile, "You are in a state of consciousness now. Every time you come in, you will be forcibly replaced by two. Dressing up from thousands of years ago." Hearing this, Su Minghui's expression lit up and he couldn't help but ask, "You said you could take me to a higher education institution, could it be here?" Half a day ago, Yang Mo found him and said he could take him to a higher institution to study space physics. At first he didn't believe it, but it's not that I doubt Yang Mo. But, because he is now one of the best in physics in China and has a certain reputation in the field of global physics, look around the world, there is no institution qualified for him to further his studies. At most it is an academic exchange. Then, he followed Yang Mo to the Lindsay base with suspicion, then, he appeared here, not bad. Yang Mo nodded, pointed forward and said, "The mountain in front of you is a school where you can further your studies and make further progress." Su Minghui raised his head subconsciously, looked ahead. Just at this time, two scholars dressed in ancient costumes passed by them anxiously. "Hurry up, the mountain leader is going to give a lecture." Speed by. He ran up the mountain. Could they be students from that school? Su Minghui had a thought in his mind and couldn't help but guess. "Hurry up, let's follow." Yang Mo patted his shoulder and quickly followed the two people in front. In front of him, he actually greeted the two of them. "Jing, Ji, I want to know, what day is today? Do you know us?" One of them stopped and turned to look at Yang Mo. In the eyes, it is full of strangeness and surprise. "Zhong, hurry up, the mountain leader is petty. If you are late, you will be finished." Another person tugged on the man's sleeve and reminded him. "Today is the first day of the new year." Zhong reacted, simply replied to Yang Mo, quickly turned around and trotted towards the mountain. "Dean, do you know them?" Su Minghui stepped forward and asked curiously. Just now, Yang Mo accurately called out the names of these two people, but they didn't seem to recognize Yang Mo. "I greeted them when I came in a few times before." Yang Mo frowned slightly. Sure enough, shocked and heartbroken, neither recognized him. Everything in the stone tablet was reset again. "Let's go." He took a deep breath and silently remembered the date of New Year's Day in his heart. Later, take Su Minghui and follow quickly. It didn't take long. We arrived halfway up the mountain and saw the familiar gate of Jisha Academy. Jisha Academy. Seeing this scene, Su Minghui's eyes widened again, looking even more shocked. Although he is a professor of physics, but I know a little bit about the history of China. Jisha Academy. It was exactly 2,000 years ago that the famous Qi Kingdom Academy was born, where hundreds of schools of thought were born. How appeared in the stone tablet? "You two, the mountain leader is about to give a lecture. Why are you still hanging around?" A voice sounded. Su Minghui's surprise was interrupted. "I saw it under the gate of the academy." An old gatekeeper who was over 80 years old raised his eyebrows and said with dissatisfaction, "Why are you standing there stupidly? Have you brought your tokens?" "Your tokens?" Su Minghui swallowed and looked at Yang Mo subconsciously. "Old sir, this is my token." Yang Mo was familiar with the road, took a token from his waist and handed it over. "Where's yours?" The old gatekeeper turned sideways and glanced at Su Minghui. Su Minghui was stunned for a moment. He quickly looked at his waist. "I don't know when I found it, there is actually a wooden token on his waist." Learned from Yang Mo. He handed the token to the old man. After some inspection, the old man returned the token to the two of them. "Make way," waving his hand, "go in." Chapter 119. Jijo is dead, let's go. Yang Mo patted the stunned Su Minghui and took the lead to walk into Jisha Academy. All the way, they are all ancient pavilions and wooden corridors. Antique. Looks, it seems to be built according to the Chinese architectural style 2,000 years ago. Su Minghui followed Yang Mo, looking around like a curious baby. He was amazed. Who would have thought there is another world inside the dark stone tablet? Xumi incorporates mesons. What means can be used to achieve this, at least with China's current technological level? This is completely impossible. We're here. Yang Mo's voice sounded. Su Minghui then discovered that the two of them had walked to a wide square without knowing it. Not far away, dozens of students dressed in traditional costumes were sitting on the futons in an upright position, and the front. An old man over 80 years old, stroking his beard with one hand and holding a bamboo slip in the other, was about to give a lecture. The old man suddenly turned sideways. He noticed the two Yang Mo people outside the square and looked surprised. A new student came today? Come here. Su Minghui was stunned for a moment. Standing there, I still haven't reacted. Yang Mo, however, was familiar with the road and walked straight towards the square. It is your destiny to join my academy for the first time. Do you have any questions to ask me? The old man looked at the two of them and said slowly, yes. Yang Emo nodded. What do you want to ask? The old man nodded and asked slowly. This, Yang Emo had a thought in his mind and asked tentatively, Chief, look, there are two of us here this time. Can we ask two questions? According to the rules of the academy, you can only ask one question. The old man emphasized with a straight face. Yang Emo coughed lightly. A little disappointed. It seems the loopholes in this school are not easy to exploit, otherwise, next time, he will bring in 1,800 people to squeeze the mountain leader dry. What's your problem? The old man glanced at Yang Emo and Su Minghui, and asked again, we want to learn space wormhole technology. Yang Emo stated the purpose of this trip. Su Minghui behind him couldn't help but widen his eyes after hearing this, swallowed. His eyes were searching back and forth between Yang Emo and the old man. At this moment, he finally understood that the Supreme University and super lecturer Yang Emo mentioned should be this square and the old man in front of him, but this old man. No matter how you look at it, he doesn't look like someone who understands high technology. I happen to know a thing or two about this technology. The old man spoke confidently and nodded. You two, sit down and listen to me explain it to you in detail. Br hear the words. Su Minghui opened his mouth wide and looked blankly at the confident old man. In macroscopic physics, the theory of space wormholes has been proposed for decades, but has never been able to achieve a breakthrough. Not even a single natural wormhole has been discovered in the universe. Sit down. Yang Emo patted Su Minghui, found two futons nearby and sat down. Su Minghui looked in entranced. I heard the old man's voice again. Space wormholes involve the theory of spacefolding. It is a method of applying higher dimensions to low-dimensional space. To put it simply, it is to fold the bamboo slips like this. Ahead, the old man held the bamboo slip in his hand and pulled the two diagonal corners, folded and bended. As you can see, in this way, the two opposite corners farthest apart on the bamboo slips overlap. This overlapping point is the wormhole. Through this, you can freely shuttle between the two spaces, eliminating the need for a straight line distance in between. On the square, the old man talked eloquently, and various space theories were at his fingertips. A few words. Then the space wormhole theory was explained clearly and thoroughly. Su Minghui was immediately shocked, eyes shining. Correct your mentality. As a student, I started studying eagerly among them. There are many space physics theories that he has never been exposed to. You study hard, and if you don't understand, just ask. I'll walk around for a while. Seeing that Su Minghui had entered the state, Yang Emo lowered his voice and explained. Later, looking for an opportunity, sneakily left the square where the lecture was held. The first 3 times I came in, he is the only one. In order to obtain those super era technologies, he could only sit in the square honestly. And this time, a rare opportunity. He must make good use of it and try to explore Jiangjixia Academy. 3 hours later, inside the academy. In a pavilion, Yang Emo walked around and around. I finally have a certain understanding of the structure of the entire academy. The facilities in the academy are complete and all types of buildings are available, except the square where lectures are held. There is also a well for drinking water, canteen for eating, guest house for accommodation, attic for storing letters, more than 10 classrooms for lectures. I don't know where Jijiu lives. Yang Emo frowned and muttered. The mountain chief once said Jijiu, the principal of this academy, may know information about this civilization trial. But you have to see the sacrificial wine. You need to pass the big exam of the academy. Although I don't know what the big exam is, I don't need to think about it to know that this kind of exam must be difficult. Instead of taking things step by step, he might as well try his luck and try to have a chance encounter in the academy. But it's a pity. He wandered around for 3 hours. Everyone I saw were servants of the academy, the staff responsible for cleaning the academy and cooking. He also inquired about them, but these staff members all said that they had never seen any sacrificial wine. Why are you looking for sacrificial wine? Suddenly, a crisp voice sounded. Yang Emo came back to his senses and found a little girl standing outside the pavilion. The little girl is about 7 or 8 years old. She has 2 braids and is wearing a light blue schoolboy dress with several delicate cloud patterns embroidered on the corners. A pair of round black eyes, staring at him with a defensive face. Yang Emo looked at the little girl in front of him in surprise. I have been observing you for a long time. You just asked someone about the whereabouts of the sacrificial wine. What do you want to do? The little girl put her hands on her hips and sounded a clear and childish voice. I would like to ask a question to the sacrificial wine. Yang Emo didn't hide anything and asked at the same time, are you a student too? Aren't you going to class now? The little girl in front of him, look at the clothing, probably also a student in the academy, it's class time now. He came all the way. All students are either listening to the lecture by the mountain leader in the square, or taking classes in the classroom. You haven't been to class either? The little girl curled her lips and asked, Yang Amo, looking at the little girl that he couldn't help but rubbed her little head and coaxed softly, be good, go to class quickly. At your age, you have to focus on your studies. It's not good to skip class. Finished. He turned around and wandered towards the next place. I plan to continue to try my luck and see if I can encounter the sacrificial wine. Stop looking for it, the sacrificial wine is dead. The little girl's face was full of shame and anger, and a clear voice came from behind. Chapter 120. How can there be peace in the years, just because someone is carrying the burden forward? Yang Mo's pupils shrank, turned around, looked at the little girl whose face was flushed. Sacrificial wine, dead? He's dead a long time ago. The little girl pouted and said angrily, also, don't rub my head in the future. Didn't the mountain chief say that through can we see wine sacrifices during the big exam? Yang Mo frowned. The mountain chief and others are old and confused. The little girl was about to say something when her expression suddenly turned a little frightened. Hurry, help me stop them. She begged. Yang Mo, just let go of your feet, run quickly in the opposite direction. Yang Mo was stunned, looking back subconsciously. I saw a few people dressed as middle-aged Confucian scholars from the academy running towards me with anxious expressions. Aching, why are you running? Come back to class with us. As for Yang Mo, they were ignored by a few of them. It didn't take long. The little girl and these middle-aged Confucian scholars disappeared from Yang Mo's sight. Her name is Aching? Yang Mo frowned slightly and remembered the name, Lindsay based. A certain ward. Dean, and Professor Su are awake. Yang Mo slowly opened his eyes and saw a group of researchers surrounding him, and on another hospital bed. Su Minghui also opened his eyes blankly and looked around the ward. After a while, sit up suddenly and look at Yang Mo, he said excitedly. Dean, I understand. This was a surprise, shocked the rest of the researchers in the ward. They all looked at Su Minghui, not sure why. Get ready. Yang Mo nodded with a smile and explained, I have mobilized domestic space physics researchers to form a research group, with you as the team leader, and strive to put space wormhole technology, digestion. I will not live up to the dean's expectations. Su Minghui nodded solemnly. This time, it was Yang Mo who led him into the mysterious stone tablet. This is nothing short of a great creation. In addition to obtaining space wormhole technology, in the process of further study, his understanding in the field of space physics became deeper. The end of a 100-foot pole. Go one step further. If he is given a few more opportunities to attend lectures, he is confident that he will surpass his predecessors and become the greatest physicist in human history. The dean did not lie to him. Jisha Academy is really a top school. You guys, please go out, I want to be alone. Yang Mo rubbed his forehead while listening to the noisy sounds around him. Soon Yang Mo was the only one left in the ward. Chief Shan or Aching, which one is telling the truth? He murmured in his heart, recalling what happened in Jisha Academy this time. Su Minghui listened to the class in the square. He took some time to explore Jisha Academy, but unexpectedly met the little girl who also skipped classes. The other party should also be a student in the academy, but tell him that Jiju is dead. Next time I enter the academy, I have to find an opportunity to ask Aching. He thought silently in his heart. At the same time, globally, the fourth round of trials has reached the 22nd day. Heavy rain, shrouded in the borders of various countries. 90% of the city was flooded. Under the arrangements of various countries, the surviving people implemented the migration plan and moved to the plateau areas within the territory. The living space of the people has been further compressed. To stabilize public sentiment, every time a 004 rainmaker is killed, every country will hold a press conference. Announce good news. As for the casualties in this heavy rain disaster, the approach of all countries is surprisingly consistent, choosing to keep silent and conceal data. However, monsters that have not been solved in the first 3 rounds take this opportunity, united again, invading those plateau areas and plundering the survivors crazily every day. There are reports that a certain town was massacred and a certain village was occupied by monsters. Under the crisis of life and death, countries have finally made breakthroughs in the research of extraordinary beings. Gull Country, White Bear Country, Sakura Country, etc., following the United States, all gave birth to their own third-level transcendent beings. Although his combat power is not as strong as Steve's, but with the help of third-level transcendent beings and modern army weapons, Countries once again launched a counterattack to maintain the situation in a delicate balance. America, Department of Defense. According to statistics, the number of people who died in our country during the fourth round of trials has exceeded 10 million. Jobs looked at the statistics submitted by the Civil Affairs Department. The mood is extremely heavy. This round of trials is coming to an end, and they in the United States have killed more than 700,004 rainmakers, but the death toll, it has reached an unprecedented level of tragedy, exceeded the previous 3 rounds, during heavy rain and flooding. Most of the old people and children were buried in it. After a long time, he let out a long sigh and said to the scientific researcher behind him, "Let's restart the goo cultivation plan." But the scientific researcher's face looked a little bit ugly, reminded, the power of the 4th level 002 imitator is weird and unpredictable, and it is very likely to lose control again. Since the last accident, their laboratory suspended the goo cultivation plan and sealed all the data. Facts proved 4th level imitator. It's far beyond what they can handle. If problems arise again, you can't go to China for help again, right? We only have this option. With a heavy heart, Jobs said with a wry smile, only by giving birth to the 4th level chosen one can we have the chance to eliminate all 004 rainmakers and defeat the mysterious energy group, otherwise more and more of us will die. According to the detection of the Hydrological Department, today, water levels are rising in all 50 states in the United States. Because the 004 rainmaker is not dead, he is still creating heavy rains in new areas and generating mysterious energy groups. If you leave it alone, the heavy rain will not stop and will gradually encroach on all the territory of the United States. Low elevation areas were flooded. The plateau area has become an isolated island. In the end, there may not even be one place that can be used as a place for people to live. China, since the heavy rain stopped, hundreds of rivers flow into the sea, water levels drop. The work of rebuilding homes began in full swing. People who had relocated from their homes returned to their respective cities one after another. From top to bottom, each department performs its own duties. The previous order was quickly restored. Work and life have returned to normal again. Go to work when you have to go to work. The school year is about to start. This time, exactly mid-September, the start of school was postponed for a month due to heavy rains, and it was put on the agenda again. Each university has issued announcements one after another. The start date of school has been determined. Each company has also informed employees and internal groups that they have resumed normal clocking into work. The sky is clear, the breeze is not dry. All over China, it was peaceful. The monster disasters in the first 4 rounds are as if they had never happened, but everyone who has experienced a disaster knows very well that the peaceful years they are enjoying now are just because there are many people who are silently carrying the burden and moving forward. There will be comments about the release later.